heart rate variability is a very, very simple measure to measure. It's a very simple one. All you do is just you measure your heart rate every, let's say, short interval, every second. It used to be believed that your healthy heart is the one that beats at a steady rate. That's what the 19th century doctors believed. Steady rate, meaning from second to second it's going to be 72 all the time. Nope, not true. A healthy heart is the one that beats. It accelerates a little bit and it slows down a little bit. Accelerates a little bit and slows down. So your heart rate, if it's at 72, it's not 72 every second. It may be 73 and a half, and the next second it's 69, and the next second it's 74. But your doctor will tell you your pulse is 72. It's an average. But what happens from second to second is what makes it or breaks it. Guys, very simple. It may sound so simplistic. It probably is. It probably is. Look at the coherent heart rhythm. On the left, you can see heart rate. It goes from 50, 60, 70. So let's say this person's heart rate, oh, by the way, it's about 70, right? Maybe 72. If you take the average of the ups and downs, of the highs and lows. So it's about 72, but from each, you see time in seconds, that's the x-axis. From 1 to 200 seconds, in each interval, you can see how it accelerates and slows down, accelerates and slows down, accelerates and slows down. This is a coherent heart rhythm. And that's when you are in the flow. Think of it as this way. You're driving a car. You basically step on the gas pedal, accelerate a little bit. Then you let go of gas and you step on the brake a little bit. Accelerate a little bit, and I brake a little bit. Now this what incoherent heart rhythm looks like when you're not in the flow. At times it feels like your both feet are pushing the gas and the brake pedals at the same time. This jagged pattern. This is the incoherent pattern. And guys, it's crazy how real it feels in your body, how absolutely real it feels. Like when you start to see how much in the flow you are, I strongly recommend you get this biofeedback technology. It's called the Inner Balance Sensor. I showed you before. There's an app. Super easy. You don't have to be tech savvy. It's very, very simple to use. But once you start doing the exercises you're going to learn from me here and practice, you're going to be very surprised. Eventually, you're going to be frustrated. I promise you that. You're going to be trying so hard to get into the flow, and that's going to take you out of the flow even more. And you're going to look, gosh, what's going on? I'm doing all the right things that Alex taught me, but I'm still not in the flow. Perfect. That's why we're doing this. That's why we're in this together. And that's why we're going to be really getting, every single one of you will go through the process. You're going to come out on the other side. As long as you do what I'm going to tell you to do. Super easy, super even simple. The consistency is the key here. So anyway, and this app will show you what it feels like to be in the flow, and you get biofeedback, which is going to train you subconsciously, which is you're going to see how much your flow starts to increase, and you feel something in your body you can't even verbalize. And it may get almost like a spiritual experience. You have the sense of like, oh my God, I'm in this wonderful state. And this moment, your entire system is in sync. Your inner battery is getting charged. And the energy reserves you're building slowly start to raise your emotional set point, your baseline over time. We're going to come back to this in a moment. A lot of spiritual traditions, guys, talk about our heart as not just a pump. Do you know that the concept that the heart is just a pump was introduced very, very, very recently? Not more than 100 years before, 150 years, I think, ago. That's when, I forgot the name of this English scientist who basically said that, oh, heart is just a pump. No. Do you know how many spiritual traditions talk about the heart? Look on the left side. Heart is in the geometric center of all body energy systems. One of my mentors, his name is Matthew Brownstein, and he's a hypnotherapist and a meditator and very spiritual being. He wrote a bunch of books. There's a book about the sacred geometry of meditation. It's just fascinating how much scientific research he's done. And heart is actually in the very center of of the energy lines of the body. It's known as the Anahat chakra in yoga. In the Kabbalistic tradition, it's known as a Sefirat Tiferet, which is, look, the green one right there. The green one, that's the heart chakra, the Anahat chakra. And the symbol of this chakra, by the way, if you pay attention there, it's known as a Magen David in the Hebrew tradition, the Star of David. But at the same time, yogis were using that around the same time. So it came to different traditions at different times. Basically, it symbolizes the triangle that is with the base on the ground represents a person. We're grounded in the earth, kind of like looking into the sky, into the heaven, and the one that's rooted in the based in the sky represents God, spiritual awareness, higher power, and they all come together. And heart is it happens to be the physical organ that's in there, and it's not by mistake. Heart, actually, look on the right. You probably already read it, but quickly. It has its own brain. There's an entire field known as neurocardiology, specific field within neuroscience and cardiology. And it's interesting that most communication from in your body between your heart and the brain happens from the heart to the brain, not the other way around. And there's a lot of research that shows that your heart actually, guys, I'll say this, don't call me crazy. I'll say this, and I mean it literally, not figuratively speaking. Your heart thinks first. Say it again. Your heart thinks first, before the brain. The brain thinks second. Say it again. Your heart thinks first. Thinks, like literally, yes. Did I say thinks? Yes. There's a little guy in there thinking? Absolutely. 40,000 neurons are actual neurons. They're brain, not figuratively speaking. And your heart reflects your emotional state in the most tangible way. Your heart magnetic field, the imprint of the heart, goes out from your body about 15 feet, so about 5 meters. So it means that from the distance of 15 feet, you can pick up the heart's magnetic field. And the heart's magnetic field looks just like the magnetic field of the planet, same shape. Your heart reflects your emotional state, meaning the actual magnetic imprint changes. The shape of your field, the symmetry of the field, and the consistency of the field will reflect your emotional state. So if I come home, my wife is home, and I feel down, let's say frustrated, there's very specific neurology, biochemistry to my frustration. My heart will reflect it in the form of energy, the magnetic energy. So that's what I'm going to feed the field. Now, I don't believe that it only goes out to 15 feet, because that's what the machines are now proving. You know, the machines didn't know that there is a gamma ray, right? But it does not mean that the gamma ray did not exist. They proved this existence of gamma rays about 100 years ago, and they could empirically show that they existed, or the X-rays or the microwaves, but it does not mean that they did not exist. Now I'm talking about science. Measurably out to 15 feet, your heart is feeding the field biochemically, and in this case more energetically, which is simple magnetic field, physical. Now I come home, my wife is home, my kid is home. I said my kid. My older one is in New York right now, so he's not in home. He's already big. He's grown out of my magnetic field. So all of them will be in the field of frustration, and later you'll understand it's so tangible. It gets just crazy how tangible it is. So If I feel down and the person next to me will be more impacted by my state. Your heart is it's like a mission control. If you've ever taken lessons how to shoot guns, a good instructor will tell you, see with your heart. And it becomes a tangible experience. Once you really get a sense of that, see with your heart. It's still not something we truly understand. And your heart knows before your brain does. And your heart feels before your brain does. And your heart, there's a broken heart syndrome. Literally, I think it bears a name of some Japanese doctor, scientist. Looks like a heart attack, like an infarction of the heart, but it's not. And it's a similar process, and it's a result of a broken heart. Love relationship not going well, and feeling the broken-hearted actually leads to physiological thing. But that's just another way of looking at it, how mind and body is one system. What we're talking about here is that your heart is an interface. And your brain, your mind, has a way of communicating with your heart that may create a feedback loop. The conclusion is very simple. If you could, just could, somehow, don't ask yourself how, evoke a feeling, simple as that. Evoke a feeling purposefully with a specific intent and actually experience that feeling in your system, and you also do something with your attention in this moment. Remember what happened with the finger? We did the exercise. You put your attention on the finger. Remember what happened to the physiology of the finger? When you put your attention on your heart, it creates measurable physiological impact. Some kind of impact. I'm not gonna quantify it right now, but you will see, your computer will tell you, your app will confirm. When you put your attention on the heart and you exercise a very specific pattern, I'm going to show you cognitively and physiologically, and you can evoke a specific emotion, that will change your coherence level within seconds. And the longer you stay coherent, the more you're training your neurology to step out of the rut of those synapses in the brain that were associated with the problem thinking into the flow awareness and the no thought mind, or very little thoughts, or positive thought mind, and no need to control any thoughts, and no need to do anything about it or with it. It's just a matter of doing very simple thing, and there are levels of mastery within it where you can literally change your entire coherence of your entire system. So you already know the patterns, what the heart rate variability patterns look like. So the jagged one on top, frustration, anger, anxiety, and appreciation and joy or care, or there's a bunch of different emotions. And the craziest thing, at least for me it was, is that you can evoke that experience internally at any given point in time within seconds, without needing to close your eyes, without needing to do anything about anything that's happening in the external reality. And I'll say it again, without even needing to close your eyes. But when I guide you through the exercise in a few moments, you will, in fact, need to close your eyes.